The light shines in the darkness, and the darkness has not overcome it. John 1:5. The storm outside mirrored the chaos within the ER. Amid the relentless buzz of monitors and hurried voices, I stood at the heart of it all, striving to keep my patients alive. My name is Grace Williams, a 36-year-old trauma nurse in one of Chicago's busiest emergency rooms. I have a loving husband, Ethan, and a 5-year-old daughter, Lily. What I'm about to share isn't just a story, it's a transformative experience that forever changed how I understand life, love, and the spiritual world. The storm was relentless that Friday night, and the ER was a whirlwind of chaos. Ambulances streamed in with victims of a massive highway pileup. The air was thick with tension, voices calling out, machines beeping, and the metallic scent of blood in the air. In the middle of the madness, I was focused on stabilizing a critically injured patient when I felt my foot slip. A puddle of spilled liquid sent me crashing to the ground, my head striking the sharp edge of a supply cart. Pain shot through me like lightning, and my vision blurred. The last thing I heard was my colleagues shouting my name as darkness swallowed me. Later, I learned I had suffered a severe traumatic brain injury. During emergency surgery, my heart stopped for over 4 minutes, but those minutes were anything but empty. What happened during that time was more real than anything I had ever experienced. The first thing I felt was an overwhelming sense of peace, like stepping into a warm embrace after being lost in a storm. The air around me seemed alive, humming with a gentle, melodic energy. The weight of the world vanished, replaced by a serenity so profound it was as though every fiber of my being sighed in relief. The cacophony of the ER faded, replaced by a silence so profound it was almost musical. I found myself in a place bathed in light so warm and radiant it seemed to pulse with life itself. The colors were unlike anything I'd ever seen, blending hues that defied earthly comprehension. The air felt alive, charged with love and harmony. Then, I noticed a figure approaching. As the figure came closer, an undeniable sense of recognition washed over me. It was Jesus. His presence exuded a love so profound it seemed to envelop me completely, dissolving every fear and doubt. His eyes held a wisdom that saw through every layer of my being. He greeted me by name and said, "Grace, you're here sooner than expected, but there's something important I need to show you." His words reverberated through me, a mix of calm and gravity that left me breathless. I felt a swirl of emotions, wonder, fear, and a strange comfort all at once. What could he mean? My heart raced with questions, but his steady gaze seemed to quiet them, filling me with an unexplainable trust. His words carried a weight that stilled my thoughts. I managed to ask if I would stay, and he replied with a soft smile, "Not yet. Your journey on earth isn't complete, but you must see what I'm about to reveal." Suddenly, the scene around us shifted. I was in a realm of indescribable splendor. Angels filled the sky, their songs weaving a tapestry of joy and love that resonated deep within my soul. Their light was pure and radiant, each one shining uniquely. Among them was a being whose brilliance surpassed all others. Jesus gestured toward him and said, "This is how Lucifer once was." Lucifer's appearance was mesmerizing. His form shimmered with an array of colors that seemed alive, his voice leading the celestial choir in perfect harmony. Jesus explained, "Lucifer was the most beautiful and gifted of all my Father's creations, but watch closely." As I observed, I noticed a change in Lucifer. At first it was subtle, a lingering glance at his own reflection in the golden streets. His eyes held a growing admiration for his own beauty. Jesus said, "This is the birth of pride." Over time, Lucifer's self-admiration deepened into envy. He began comparing himself to others, questioning why he should bow to anyone, even God. A thought took root in his heart. "I am greater. I should be worshipped." Lucifer's pride spread like a shadow, infecting others. I saw him whispering to the angels, planting seeds of doubt. "Why should we not be equal to God?" he asked. Jesus explained, "Free will is a gift, but it comes with responsibility." Pride turned Lucifer's love inward, away from my Father's light. The vision shifted again. The peaceful realm erupted into chaos as streams of light clashed with encroaching darkness. Loyal angels, led by Michael, stood firm against Lucifer and his followers, who had become twisted and corrupted. The air vibrated with the intensity of the battle. Lucifer's once brilliant light dimmed, consumed by the darkness he had embraced. Then came a moment of finality. Lucifer and his followers were cast out, falling like stars extinguished in the night sky. Jesus said, "The rebellion was not the end, but the beginning of a greater plan. My Father's goal is not merely to destroy evil, but to transform creation into something even more beautiful." Next, I saw earth from above, a web of light connecting people to heaven and to each other. These strands represented acts of love, kindness, and faith, but dark tendrils of doubt, fear, and temptation sought to sever these connections. Jesus explained, "This is the essence of spiritual warfare. Every choice strengthens either the light or the darkness." He showed me how pride and selfishness are Satan's primary tools, just as they led to Lucifer's fall. Yet even the smallest acts of humility and love could weaken the darkness and strengthen the light. "Never underestimate the power of small, selfless acts," Jesus said. One of the most profound parts of the vision was understanding hell. Jesus said, "Hell is not a punishment imposed by my Father, but the natural consequence of rejecting love." I saw how Lucifer's choice led to a self-imposed exile, consumed by his own pride and darkness. Jesus emphasized, "As long as you live, there is always a chance for redemption. Every choice matters." Before I left, Jesus took me to the edge of heaven. Below, I saw earth glowing with threads of light and shadows of darkness. He said, "Grace, remember this. Pride is the root of all sin, but love is the most powerful force in the universe. Every act of love, no matter how small, strengthens the bonds of light and brings you closer to my Father." He placed his hand on my forehead, and I felt a surge of warmth and peace. The next thing I knew, I was back in my body, gasping for air as the surgical team worked frantically around me. Since that day, my faith has deepened in ways I never thought possible. I've learned to recognize pride in myself and strive for humility. Small acts of love, a kind word, a helping hand, are now my way of fighting the darkness. I understand that life is not about grand gestures, but the small daily choices that align us with God's love. I share this story not to draw attention to myself, but to remind others of the spiritual reality that surrounds us. The battle between light and darkness is real, but so is the hope we have in love. Every choice matters, and in the end, love will triumph. And now these three remain: faith, hope, and love, but the greatest of these is love. 1 Corinthians 13:13.